Oh.
So yeah, that was nice.
Damn. You got so fucked up. You whited out and had to go back to your last safe.
Look at him. How could you ever hate him?
I didn't say I hate him.
How could you ever want to eat him?
How could you not want to
How could you
bore
ever
him?
kill him in purpose?
Are you accusing me of murder?
Look at him. How could you not want to just bore him up
Look,
right now?
he's snuggling in a blanket.
He is snuggling in blanket, and that is incredibly fucking. Honestly,
That's cute.
send me that so I can put that in this episode. That's gonna go in the episode now.
That's adorable.
That's gonna be the beginning of this fucking episode. It's you going. How did you ever want to eat it? Oh, what the fuck was I about to say? There was a second point I wanted to say to you specifically. What was it?
Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I want to shake you.
Yeah.
Jamaica, Bahama, come pretty mama.
Oh, nice. Nice. I got you. What was I about to say?
These nuts.
Mind Goblin.
No.
Mind Goblin.
It was
nuts.
important too, and that's why I don't want to move away from it until I get there.
Was it about the party that you went to? Something about
No, that got brought up because I needed the pictures of Gizmo.
Insert timestamp.
Was it about the root canal I got today?
Nope, it was after that, even though that is fucking nuts. Like,
Are you sure it wasn't about these nuts?
I will fucking murder you.
Are you sure it wasn't about your mom?
I will murder you as well. It's just gonna have to come up halfway through the episode, I guess.
That's how these things go.
That's how these things.
The harder you try,
the worse it gets.
the harder you'll
worse
get.
You know, I wish that was true. I actually do wish that was true.
You know, me too.
Y'all, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Yes, sir.
It has been.
Konnichiwa.
Y'all won't know this because the fucking episode order going up has been fucking wonky as shit, but I will answer a quick question. Why the fuck is there such a long pause between episode 14 and 15? Well, I'll answer that right now. Because we've been fucking gone. Like, we've been doing a fuck ton. Well, not even a fuck ton, but we've pretty much. I uploaded episode 14 the day before we went out to Ohio for the solar eclipse. That was the last time. Did we record? Yeah, we recorded right before the weekend before that.
Yeah, because we've recorded through 19, right?
Yeah, we recorded through 19. So we did the recording. I put up episode 14 literally on Saturday, and Sunday we drove over to Ohio for the solar eclipse that happened. If that gives y'all any like idea of the timeline here, right? We got back from that on a Tuesday night, so we chose not to record. Ended up going a full week, and because I had completely forgotten that you were leaving out for Aruba in less than a week after us getting back from Ohio, we ended up not recording again. So you left, went to Aruba, which we're going to talk about in a second. While you were gone, there was a couple opportunities to do some like small stuff, and just didn't happen for one reason or another. Not because I'm lazy, but because I'm lazy. So we were going to record some bonus content type shit. Ended up not happening, but that's okay.
I think there are a couple episodes where, or maybe just one, where it was you and I.
We have one episode where it was you and I when he was at GDC.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's just going to go up as episode 17, I believe. So that'll just go up as its own thing. Then you got back, scared the fuck out of us. What happened? Because when did you actually come back?
Like what time?
Yeah, what day did you fly back?
I flew back Thursday, and I got back around 11 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
At night.
Okay. Because the last I remember, you were like, yeah, we're supposed to be like flying back on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's what I had in my personal calendar.
Okay.
And then I went to get on the plane, and I was checking. It was great for my boss
Yeah, no,
because you take off the time, and your boss is like, "Hey, what time are you going to be gone again?" And you're like, through the 25th. And he's like, "Well, you only took off the 24th." And I'm like, "Shit." Yeah, well, I just looked at the itinerary for the flights, and I'm flying back at 2 o'clock on the 25th, despite the fact that in the 24th through the 24th is what I've had in my calendar for months.
Dang.
So, yeah.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I fucking booked an Airbnb for the wrong dates, if you remember that.
You did do
Nah,
that.
it slipped my mind.
Yeah, I'm going to remind you here. Yeah, so we went down to the Ohio trip was basically, was it the 9th, 10th, or was it 8th, 9th, and 10th?
I could double check.
7th, 8th, 9th?
7th,
8th,
8th, and
9th,
9th?
and 10th is what you booked for.
So it was
7th,
9.
8th, and 9th is what.
We were expecting for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the trip was supposed to be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So we get there Sunday, stay overnight, there all day Monday for the Eclipse, and then we were leaving out on the Tuesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rueben, in all his fucking stupidity, books an Airbnb and doesn't check his dates properly, because I proceed to book that Airbnb for the 8th, 9th, and 10th, which would have put us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And so we all get down there. Luckily, you were staying with Michaela in like your own hotel. Mm-hmm. We get down there, me, you, and your girlfriend. We get down there. We're trying to get into the Airbnb. And I messaged the host. I'm like, man, it says I'm supposed to get a code. Where's the code at? He was like, well, you're not supposed to check in until tomorrow. So you'll get the code then. And I was like, shit.
Row.
Immediately went to the email and yep, for fucking certain, Rueben set those dates for 8, 9, and 10. Because I'm a dumbass.
Mistakes were made.
Mistakes were made.
It's okay. We ended up going on an adventure.
We did go on an adventure. We stayed in what was possibly an infested, and
That was the worst hotel experience.
that was the worst Notel I've ever been in.
Really? See,
The
I
Skylight
didn't
Inn?
ask too much about it.
The Skylight Inn?
The Skylight Inn, yeah. the you did not ask a lot about it. I'm glad you did, and thank you very much.
But I'm going to ask a lot about it now because
Yeah.
I'm very curious. I saw some pictures, but that was the extent, really.
yeah, I sent you and Michaela a snap.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
That
That's what I
bitch
saw.
didn't even have carpet.
Wait, what was the floor?
It was just hardwood.
That's not hardwood, my guy. That was a laminate designed to look like hardwood.
Hardwood.
The
Yeah.
floor was rubber.
Like it could, like there
no.
wasn't even like, okay, well, you two take the bed, you take the bed, and then like somebody take the floor. No, like no one was sleeping on that
No one
fucking
was sleeping
floor.
on the floor. There were mysterious stains all over the floor.
All over the place.
I mean,
The
honestly,
smell.
The smell was weird.
I'm going to say, y'all mentioned the smell. What?
Because most hotel, like I could have been, like it would have been, other than it was low quality.
It
It
wasn't
was
like
low quality. The beds weren't the most comfortable.
It's not the worst hotel I've ever stepped a foot in before.
But it's the
But-
worst smelling. One of the worst smelling rooms I was expected to spend more than 2 hours in.
It was the worst hotel I'd ever. Well, it's a motel. Like we keep calling this thing a hotel. It was not. It was a motel.
Hotel,
an
motel,
inn.
Holiday Inn.
Yes, it was an inn. It was really a Notel, and if you know what that term means, you know. It was the worst Notel I've ever been in that I was still willing to sleep in for the night. If that's basically the best way I can put it. Because there's been some places, like if you're ever down in Georgia, do not stay in the OYO. Just don't stay in one of those. They are absolutely the Notel you see in like an 80s crime drama movie that definitely has bloodstains in it somewhere. And you are not looking to get underneath like a cover or some shit.
You don't want to
like,
make some more?
you do not want to stick with that shit.
compared to Waffle House.
I would sleep in a Waffle House. Yo.
Wow. Okay, that's saying a
You
lot.
can't get drunk at a Waffle House.
I
right?
was about to say it's the Waffle House of hotels, but that would just be an insult to Waffle House. Like
And that's fucked up.
that's
It's the
fucked.
Denny's of hotels.
Yeah,
Hey. Denny's isn't as bad, but it definitely is not the best.
It's not an IHOP.
No.
But it is. I don't know. I don't think. Anyway, like I have not been to a Denny's in so long.
I didn't either until recently because of door dashing, and it's not as
The next
bad.
time you go eat it, well, you should text me. If I'm up, I might come out and just come eat it.
There's
Try
one right
being
down the road.
depressed at midnight. I mean, come on.
I mean, I do go there at like 3:00 in the morning. So
Yeah.
it's,
I would go there sometimes after Dave and Buster's, after getting out at like 1 a.m. from Dave and Buster's.
I keep forgetting you worked at Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, I mean, it was not for very long. I was also tried to go back, but they never called me back. So purportedly, they put me down as like a part-time employee because I was like, look, I'm working here from like 3 to 1 a.m. and then I'm getting up at 7 and working landscaping all day and coming straight here. Like I can't do this. I could have kept doing it, but it would have been a shit summer.
Yeah.
But it's better to make overtime on landscaping. Anyways, that that was the most money I was making in my life until I was on unemployment.
Oh, that's fucked up, but I know the exact same. Like,
Yeah.
damn.
between my first job and Toys R Us, the Toys R Us was the most money I had ever made until I got on unemployment, and that's so fucked up to think about because unemployment is not a lot of money.
No.
Like, unemployment hasn't fucking changed in pretty much I'm fairly certain at least my parents' lifetime. Like I'm fairly certain you make the same in unemployment now that they probably did when they were like teenagers or some shit.
Damn.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And if inflation,
Even with inflation, because that shit does not change with inflation. I can guarantee you.
I guess I don't know how much you would.
I'll put it this way: the amount. So I was on unemployment last year before I got my job. Now you've been on unemployment you were on unemployment last year for most of it. You haven't been on unemployment in a while.
No.
Yeah, no.
But
But
since post-pandemic.
the amount we and you
Actually, it was mid-pandemic. But
yeah, me and you were making the exact same amount because that's basically a blanket amount you make with unemployment. The amount me and you were making on unemployment last year is the same amount I made on unemployment when I was fucking 21
It's like
or
600,
22, whoever old I was.
600 a month,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, it has not changed in 10 fucking years.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, so back to Ohio. So that's how Rueben had to spend $250 fucking extra dollars on his own personal fuck up. You kicked in, and I really do love you for that. Thank you, buddy. But so it starts off. That's how our trip to Ohio starts: is having to sleep in some shitty hotel, some shitty Notel overnight. None of us were chancing taking anything more than we had to off. Like the only thing we took off were our shoes.
I put my hood up.
He had his fucking hood up. You and Bailey refused to even lay on the pillow. And I don't know if that's because that's how y'all are used to sleeping or because you were not going to lay your head on those things.
I
I finalized my cover letter.
You did do that.
that night.
Yeah, that's what you were sitting over on his laptop doing.
Huh.
I was delirious with stress those couple days, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's now canon now that you don't sleep with pillows.
It's just
I
canonizing
use
it.
a pillow. I think it was Bailey that.
Refused.
Yeah.
I just remember, but both of you were looked at the pillow and just nah. I ended up taking it. I was like, fuck it. If I catch something, who cares? I'm just tired.
I licked it. I kissed it.
I believe it. He might have did that too.
I mean, just take a break from writing my cover letter.
Might as well add to the stains.
As well.
The mirror in the sink extended all the way over the
Yeah,
toilet.
that was so weird.
Wait, what?
Did you get a picture of that?
No.
There's a whole Facebook group or Reddit just for that. Just for cursed toilets.
Cursed toilets.
Oh, yeah.
We should have got a picture of it. But yeah, the fucking bathroom in this Notel, the mirror that is the fucking main mirror, wasn't just across the counter. it extended over into the toilet area. So it was the whole wall was a mirror. And so if you're just standing there taking a piss, you're
staring at yourself.
You got time to reflect. Like
literally.
Okay, that's not so.
I'd never thought about it, but I have never seen myself
taking a piss.
When I was in Aruba, we went to this club, and I had to pee naturally. It was like this little beachside thing. They had this little like circular hut. They had the bathrooms in it. So I walked over, went to a urinal, looked up, and realized I was looking out a window. Now, mind you, when I say window, I mean an open hole in a cinder brick wall that went straight down the walkway of people coming in. So I'm sitting here pissing, making eye contact with people who are walking into the club.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was like, this is one of the worst toilet designs I've ever seen in my life.
In fairness, reminder, you are like a foot taller than the average person.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. All right. It's not my kink. It just makes me uncomfortable.
I'm just saying, like, if I stood at that urinal,
sure, you would have also been making eye contact with people. My head was squarely in the middle of the window. My eyes were up at the top. It was.
You think it was designed to be that way?
I just don't think they thought about it.
No, I don't think I just probably just didn't think it that through. It was like, we just need to punch out a hole for there to be some ventilation in here. And it was like, there are like 6'5" motherfuckers in this world. Like,
we're gonna be sitting here like, oh, hi, you're kind of cute.
Oh, man,
want to come and see my thumb?
Want to come see? Oh my fucking goodness! We're gonna get to Aruba in a second. We got to finish out the Ohio trip first. So yeah, stayed the night in that hotel. It was not a great experience, but at least we didn't have to sleep in a car overnight.
It was fine.
It was fine. Like it really was. As if you just didn't think about it and took edibles.
Fine. Was it fine?
It was fine.
We lived, didn't we?
Nobody has an STD.
As far as we know, I haven't
gotten tested yet. Do we know?
I haven't gotten tested yet, but we'll see.
I haven't felt anything.
I didn't feel no tingle.
Usual STD tingle. Oh no, we're all gonna go get tested soon.
The silence is killing.
It's part of the Aruba trip, so we can decide to cut it out or not after we go through.
We'll talk about it now. We'll make it.
We're gonna get to a lot of parallels.
We're gonna. Oh boy, I'm so excited for this.
I wondered why I didn't see a lot of videos and stuff from the trip. Now I'm starting to think that there's a reason.
Bitch never takes
That's because I
videos.
never take fucking videos. Unless we're on a nature excursion, in which case I take so many videos my phone dies.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
I kept thinking about like getting on like somebody's fucking TikTok or something and seeing if they were doing videos and shit.
Yeah, I know one of them was.
What is the app? Is it Foursquare that they use? Whatever the fuck. Anyway, but yeah. So we stayed fucking Sunday in the Notel. Check out we make it out unscathed as far as we know. Monday the Eclipse, fucking awesome. That Eclipse was awesome.
Yo.
If you have or have been the person or have ever heard of anyone going, is it really worth the drive for a totality, like 100% totality? Like I was in like a place where it had like 99% or 97%. It's not that much. Yeah, slap that motherfucker. Like,
stupid.
You're fucking stupid.
Boo.
The difference is astronomical.
The difference is staggering. Like if you've not seen a total solar eclipse, you haven't seen an eclipse yet. Like you've experienced some interesting shit before, but you haven't experienced an eclipse. Like just being in that moment was the coolest shit. And I really want to go to Iceland, go do it again.
Yeah. To explain it even more, you know how it gets when it's nighttime, like legit nighttime, right? That's essentially what it was at 3:00 in the afternoon for about 3 minutes.
5 minutes.
If you're a D&D nerd, it's kind of what they explained the
fail?
The Feywild.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's like so you're sitting there and there's a sunset 180 degrees around you, and the sky is black and the sun is there but not there, and you can see this like shining orb of the corona like shimmering out from behind the moon.
Are you describing an eclipse or the Fey?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, because like in the Feywild, there's no real, if I remember correctly, there's no like sun or moon because it's separated from the solar system. It's another plane of existence. So like night-day cycles just kind of occur, right? So the idea of there being like a sunset or like the that type of thing, 180 degrees around you is kind of part of it, if I remember correctly.
That is, it's ethereal. Like it doesn't.
It's like it's because you've never seen a 360-degree sunset before. It's
right.
Like it sort of makes sense, but it's weird.
Right.
Like something's off.
Like something is not right about
Even
this.
with like the lighting dimming up to the eclipse was really like
it was like, man, that's crazy. Everything's like getting dark.
yeah.
And then like totality happens, and that's when
And it gets cold.
It got cold like
it got
nighttime.
really, like literally dropped 10 degrees.
And the
You're
birds
like-
that were flying in the sky actually landed on the water because it's nighttime. For all they know, they're
honestly,
just like, well,
like
all
During
right.
the 2017 one, I remember I was in a town, like a little city square, and sitting there with like this happened even on the bridge that we were on, where all the outdoor lights come on for nighttime, and you're like, that's weird. And then like like crickets started chirping, like nighttime bugs started doing their thing. I think there were maybe even like an owl. It's so crazy.
it's insane because it makes you realize how much things, especially particularly nature and shit, is like not as much circadian rhythm as you think it is.
You're saying something about circadian rhythms.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it's crazy because it makes you realize how not as much as we think is governed by circadian rhythms. Like how like a lot of animals aren't going, like animals have an internal clock, obviously, but their choice of like when it's time to sleep and when it's time to do nighttime or daytime activities is pretty much more like a solar detector.
Well, and too, like, what are they gonna do? Light a candle? Like
I mean, yeah.
they basically have no choice but to go to
But to-
sleep if
right.
it gets dark out.
Right.
Except fireflies, they light their butts on
They do.
on light.
They do. Technically light a candle.
Did you guys hear they finally figured out, or they think they finally figured out why moths circle lights?
Isn't it?
I thought we had that figured out.
Wasn't it like it's just a compulsion?
We didn't. We had a couple of theories,
Oh.
but this is the most solid theory that we have at the moment, which is very simply they kind of use the sun for navigation,
Oh, I've heard
Right.
this, yeah.
and so they like fly around, up and around. Basically, long story short is the nature in which they would normally use it for navigation causes them to just like circle it.
They're just like, well, I need to fucking head that way. They confuse light bulbs and stuff for I would assume the moon more than the sun.
No. It's kind of,
I didn't know there were many nocturnal
I'm doing a terrible job of articulating this because I don't remember the specifics, but basically it's really kind of depressing.
the point being their navigation system gets completely fucked because of artificial light.
Yep, and then they go,
Yeah.
So they kind of stupid.
Yeah. Well, no, they just don't understand. They're ignorant.
yeah, because it's
ignorant. They're
Just like the racists.
Well, if you're using the moon to navigate and then it goes over your head,
Right.
I thought the
and you're
racist
supposed
has-
to be following the moon. What?
I was gonna make a racist joke, and then I thought better of it.
No, fair enough.
If you're following the North Star and it goes over.
You're like, hey, wait a minute. Or it's like you're used to following the North Star and it doesn't really move. And every time you take 5 steps, it's like in a new location.
Yeah.
It's like, did I just walk past the North Star?
Now it's
Hold
on your
up.
left.
Wait a minute. Still ain't right.
But yeah, like, so yeah, like watching like the birds come in to roost on the water. And then like as soon as it's done, they're like, well, okay, take off again.
And the Kraken emerged.
Yeah. Oh man.
I think it was the weather change that was wild for me at least.
The way it just got so cold so fast.
And it's not like it was freezing, but like it was like 70, like almost 75 because the sun was out and it was pretty warm.
Yeah.
And then it dropped to like 40.
It was like
45.
60. It didn't drop that far. It was 60. It was 10. It was 10 degrees. There was a straight up measurement. But it did feel like you don't realize how drastic of a change that is until you feel it that quickly.
Yeah, I guess that's
It's
how
kinda
it
crazy.
felt, honestly.
Because
I
like
realize how quickly life on Earth would die out if we were just a stone floating through the cold universe.
oh yeah, no. It's a real lucky thing that we have the rhythm that we got going in this bitch, because that would be nuts. But yeah, it's like going from 70 to 60 is a wild thing to feel. But it's like, I guess it makes sense, because if you ever had like air conditioning on in your car, right? And you had like 68 degree air conditioning on a 78 degree day, it's like really cold. And it can get decently cold.
It's like a cloud going over the sun, but way more dramatic.
Way more dramatic. Like the biggest, thickest cloud that's ever gone across the sun before.
And while it's in totality, you can take off those solar glasses and actually look at it for that 3 minutes that it's like, in front of the moon's in front of the sun.
Yeah.
That was wild.
That is.
I don't know. No picture, I think, has done it real justice. Even the cool ones that NASA takes.
Yeah. Like,
or whatever.
There's
like,
no context for standing underneath it. In like, it is, when I got back, I was talking to my parents about it, and I straight up told them, my aunt as well, was like, the exact same way there is no picture that can actually prepare you to see the Grand Canyon in person.
Yeah.
That exact same feeling of wonder and awe is what I had standing in totality. It was like, there is, now that I've experienced it, I can say with confidence, there is no picture that can prepare you for an eclipse. There's nothing that can prepare you for a 100% totality if you've not been in one. The only thing that can prepare you is having been in 100% totality before. That's it.
Like, I could see how this shit was stopping wars.
I can see how this shit was stopping breath. Like, we said as much, like, as it was ending, it was like, I can see how people thought the world was ending. Yeah. If I lived in a time before science and before understanding of what this shit was, I'd just give up the ghost. That'd be it. Yeah. I have pissed off God.
Oh, it's time.
And I don't know what I did, but clearly he's mad.
Yep.
And there really ain't much else I can do about this. So bye. Like I'm
All
curious.
right, kids, I'll take my stuff out of this world so you can continue to live.
Y'all can deal with this if y'all want to, but I'm out of here. Like,
all right, my
right.
firstborn.
All right, kids, you got to go because God wants me to.
Like, God is pissed, and none of us know why, but we're going to try and figure it out by not being here anymore.
Must be the youngest.
Has to be the youngest. We're just going to start with the youngest and work our way up from there until this shit's done. Like, I'm actually really curious how many suicide/sacrifices happened during a total eclipse before in history.
Couldn't the Mayans predict it?
I mean, before before any understanding of what it was, right? Like, because like you have to know, like, this shit happens on what, like a 4 to 5 year scale, but at different parts of the.
It happens
planet.
all the time over the ocean.
Oh, that's right. It happens a lot over the oceans. It's just landfall. So it's like, it has definitely happened before. And like,
there's like a map of it. I don't need to pull it up on my phone.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's happening all the time around the world.
it is happening all the time, meaning it's happened in like prehistoric human history, like before understanding, before science, before being able to predict, before the understanding of like, hey, there's like shit up there above us. And like that is vast and huge and stars and shit, right? So it definitely was happening at times in which people had no good reason to understand what was happening.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Well,
curious,
you gotta
like,
think
during
about it,
those
right? Like,
times.
it's one
I
of the
like
first.
the inherent assumption that human sacrifices had to be Mayan.
Well, they were kind of known for that.
They
so.
really were. They
That
were
was
super
like
dope
their
for it.
thing.
It's kind of their thing. Oh, sorry.
Like a whole temple dedicated to it.
All of
But
their
yeah,
fucking
think about like
that.
way back when, like before light pollution was a thing. Star skies were like there. You can't
Yeah,
see it as a
right.
background on.
One of the if you have a Windows machine, it's the background with the green tint and like the starry sky that's just silhouetted on some kind of forest.
But you didn't have to do long exposures to get that shit. It just looked like that.
It just looked like that.
Like if you've ever been to like Canada or any very like lightly wooded area,
Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan.
it's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
That's a trip I want to do, is just find like because there's like light pollution maps. Just find like a dead zone, and
That's why I want to do this Iceland trip. That's why
you could do that here.
You could, but Iceland.
But Iceland.
I want to go. I want to visit places overseas a lot. So
Yeah,
that's why I really want to go.
And so, like, to notice patterns in
Right.
the movements of the night sky wasn't that crazy because it was always up there. It was always crazy.
Could you
And
And then as
imagine
we began to understand math, applying, it was one of the first things we ever applied math to.
Yeah.
Was the patterns that happen in the night sky. So the eclipses are second to that. One of the first things we ever figured out how to like fully predict. So to the point where like the Antikythera mechanism has an eclipse predictor in it.
Yeah, I mean, when you think, like, when you really get down to it, once you understand that the moon rises and falls in a cycle, and that the Earth is, even before like the understanding that the Earth is rotating around the sun, even if it's like the sun is rotating around the Earth, they're rotating at, as soon as you realize they're rotating at different speed but very similar axes, it's not that hard to predict. I feel like you just have to like, okay, how many times around do we have to go before it's lining up again? And if it's happening this frequently, it's probably not that difficult. But
Well, and also you figure there's people sitting around for hundreds of years. They don't really have anything else to do at night.
the fuck else we doing? Like,
You're not
Agriculture,
scrolling TikTok.
making
You're looking
babies.
at the sky.
have babies, make up new religions, and watch the sky do its thing.
Burn some
Entertainment has
witches.
been devastating
Right.
for humanity. What?
What? The point being is the eclipse was fucking cool, and I can fully understand like why people thought the world was ending when they happened.
That's because it was.
And then there's the fun part of like,
During the eclipse, we all died and a new America was born.
yes, that would be lovely actually.
In all of our hearts.
We all wished it.
Apparently, there were also conspiracy theories tied to the eclipse, which both doesn't surprise me and deeply disappoints me.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
told me about one of them.
Did I?
If it wasn't you, it was you. One of you motherfuckers talked about it.
Was it about like people thought that like if the eclipse didn't end, it was like a portal to hell and demons?
Yeah,
were
was
gonna
that
come
you who
out?
brought that up?
Yeah.
On Friday.
They crossed 7 cities named Nineveh in the U.S.
Really?
I heard it on a podcast.
The most reliable source of information.
Here, I'll look it up to see if I...
Nope, y'all heard it here first on Kingz After Dark. The solar eclipse crossed 7 cities named Nineveh. And I think the government is hiding something.
Is it just because the names are similar, or what does Nineveh mean?
I don't fucking know, but it means something.
It's-
And
Nineveh
therefore,
is a biblical...
It's a biblical reference. It's a city. In the Bible, it's referenced for, I think Jonah was supposed to go there to essentially.
Oh, okay.
spread the good
Facts
news.
check says there were only 2.
Oh, okay.
good enough for me.
Yeah. God got mad at Jonah for not wanting to go there. I don't know if that was exactly why he got swallowed.
Yeah, it was a city that
Yeah,
was
he got-
particularly sinful, and he was sent there in order to evangelize.
He pussied out at the last second.
And that's why he got swallowed.
And that's
by
why
the
he got
whale.
swallowed by the well.
And then he
Because
got
God
dumped
is a
there.
merciful, loving God.
And in Veggie Tales,
Yep. I literally, when you said Nineveh, Veggie Tales movie, and I was like, okay,
Wow.
I remember Jonah sitting on the hill talking to the caterpillar dude, and then looking out at the city of Nineveh. Yeah,
do you remember when they were smashing them? Was it with pumpkins, or were they just using a pumpkin as an example?
I hope not, because that's a fucked up thing to do.
They got put in a whole ass arena and were doing ritualistic human sacrifice in like a Coliseum style thing.
And VeggieTales,
I'm sorry. Ritualistic vegetable sacrifice.
Yeah.
it's still basically human sacrifice in VeggieTales.
Hey, we're kids. We
It
didn't
was
know
one
shit.
of the most badass scenes of VeggieTales ever.
I so unironically want to watch VeggieTales right now.
In the belly of the whale, they say we're delicious here.
I so unironically want to watch VeggieTales right now.
Yeah.
VeggieTales was fucking
Such
sick.
a legendary series.
It really was
So good.
That
VeggieTales.
great VeggieTales, greatest piece of like Christian
Broccoli.
celery.
Gotta be
VeggieTales.
And I still hate vegetables, so I don't.
Yeah, it's fucking weirdo.
I love VeggieTales though.
Yeah,
Put that shit on.
right. Honestly, if we can find it, I might just do that on a Friday.
Larry's
just put on
Larry's
VeggieTales.
silly songs to
Larry's
find the
silly
hero
songs
of
are
a
legendary.
generation.
Legendary. shit.
Fucking cheeseburger, the cheeseburger song.
Cheeseburger.
Yep.
This
Yeah.
tasty cheeseburger. We'll wait for you. Ooh, yeah. We'll wait for you. Ooh. Oh.
And hairbrush are the two. Well, cheeseburger, hairbrush.
Manatee.
Barbara Manatee.
I was gonna say
You're the one for me.
there's another one, the Sabu song.
I was gonna say.
Oh.
The Sabu song.
Sabu. Sabu.
Oh my god.
Achumamu, 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 sabu. Bruh.
Oh my god, that show was so good. Like,
It's funny you mentioned this because I think literally 2 days ago there was somebody who reanimated Esther, I think.
Was it?
Or no.
It might-
No, Shadrach, Meshach, and Benny.
Oh,
They
that was-
reanimated that episode.
Yeah.
I don't know who it was.
In
but
Blender?
in Blender.
Yeah.
And it looked really good.
I didn't get a chance to actually watch it, but I saw one of our old professors posted it on Facebook.
Yeah.
that's
That's where it
probably-
came from. Yep.
Oh my god, I do gotta go check that out. We might watch fucking VeggieTales on Friday. I love VeggieTales. VeggieTales is so good.
So good.
If by
More
some
like Veggie pales in comparison to. Actually, I can't think of anything that
good job, buddy.
would pale.
To
It's
clarify,
the Lord of the Rings.
didn't they do? Well, they probably
I
did
don't
some
Probably.
things.
Eventually, they started to run out of steam, and they did things like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
And
Oh, okay.
some
feel like
weird
they-
fairy shit.
They did. I remember it. So it was a parody. It was a parody.
Yeah, of course.
It was what did they call it? Oh my gosh.
Of Lord of the Rings?
Yes. Yes. If you look up VeggieTales Lord of the Rings, there is a parody. I remember it like, I remember that, but I don't, but I do. I remember some of the
Lord of the
characters.
Beans.
Yes. Yes. Oh my god. I don't remember any of it, but it was definitely a thing.
All right, we'll be watching it.
How is that?
2005, baby.
Yes, sir.
Is that a story in the Bible?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Lord of the
Yeah,
Rings
you don't
was
remember when
directly.
Jesus minted the One Ring?
Yes.
You know when Jesus had to carry the one ring?
So after Jesus descended down on the cross and he took all the sins of humanity onto himself, he put them into a singular ring.
All the sins.
All the sins.
Yes.
I mean, if we're being real, Lord of the Rings really just is a retelling of.
Wasn't that supposed to be what's his name?
Well, I mean, it's because the hero's journey is a retelling of a Christian of the
Christian
Christ
Bible is a
tale.
retelling of the hero's journey, for being real.
You can't.
The hottest take.
It's not a hot take, Kenton. It's not a hot take. That's why evangelicals hate the hero's journey.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not even going to try to fight it. I'm just noting
fair.
that's a
That's
hot
fair.
take that
That's
I'm
fair.
not going to fight.
God, if by some weird cosmic miracle I wind up back in religion again and I have kids, which is like just two infinite possibilities that have to collide somehow.
I mean, you can't not have kids with those childbearing hips. You gotta pop them right out your deuterus.
I haven't heard that one before.
It's one of my favorites to whip out.
Bruh. I got to figure out where my deuterus is. Is that like?
And how do you activate it?
How do you activate it?
You're saying we can reproduce ourselves?
That's what the liberals would like to have you
No,
believe.
it's more for female to male transition trans people who still keep some semblance of their reproductive organs might say they have a daughter.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. I swear to God.
Don't get mad at us. We didn't know. Yeah. We didn't know. We're sorry.
You could get mad at
We
me.
thought we had them.
But it's like it's a slightly obscure version of Bussy, and I love to whip it out.
I was about to say, all I can think of is like some trans man actually going to the doctor and going, "Doctor, I've just been feeling a weird pain in my uterus." And I just want to make sure it gets checked out. And it's like, nothing to worry about. It's like, I'm sorry, Mr. Radcliffe, you have cancer of the uterus. Deuteran cancer.
As in like Deuteronomy, or
And it all comes back to VeggieTales.
I'm talking about old Deuteronomy. I'm pretty sure only he fucking saw that, so nobody else here knows what's going on right now.
I missed it.
My fucking empty can.
Yep.
Tried to drink out of it.
Yeah.
Realized there was nothing in it.
Yep.
And instead of setting it back,
Yep.
just fucking tosses it behind the couch.
Like a child disappointed with socks on Christmas.
Nice.
Just the fact I look over in enough time to see you just chuck it. Oh, man. Oh, my God. It's been too long since we sat down and talked. Holy shit.
Man, how do we get here?
Holy fuck. Tutorous, VeggieTales.
If we ever got like a liberal VeggieTales,
I would love a liberal VeggieTales.
Would that be like science instead of religion?
No, it'd be more what's the gay downtown churches?
Oh. Wait, so it would still be Christian?
It would still be Christian.
yeah, but like Christian, I've learned very recently.
Is it New Methodist?
New Methodist. There are versions of Christianity that aren't incompatible with being a good person.
As it turns out, yeah. It's almost like Jesus himself was not, like, he kind of tried to teach certain lessons that people reject nowadays.
I mean, like there are people who wholly identify as Christian, believe that Jesus rose from the dead, that also shit.
They shit too. I sure hope we got that. I sure hope that was loud enough for the mic to catch. We need that boosted. We need that soundbite boosted and used throughout this episode.
You almost killed Izzy.
I'm sorry that I forgot the specific belief about Jesus Christ that is very niche and is held by a particular Harvard
the
professor.
specific sects of Christianity that now refuse to shit because they find it sinful.
I had to swallow everything in my mouth or it was gonna spray out.
You should have let it spray.
Yeah, when you're editing this, you need to go back and
Next
boost
time
the
Izzy aim
soundbite
at my
of Izzy
toes.
swallowing his water right at that moment.
I don't know what the fucking intro clip is going to be to this episode now because there's so many good candidates. Holy shit. This is how you do your fucking milestone episode. Because I was going to like hold off till we were done, but y'all realize we made it to episode fucking 20. We made it past the 5-month mark.
We did.
Like,
we did.
Fucking end this shit, man.
We took a couple weeks to come back, but we knew.
But we made it.
We were going to come back.
We knew we were coming back. Holy fuck. Oh, man. Holy. It's going to be, you all are going to be like, you're gonna be like up in your office, or you're gonna be like up in your room or some shit, and I'm just gonna like guffaw out of nowhere because of the random stupid shit I'm hearing. Oh man.
What I meant to say is that they don't necessarily believe that Jesus Christ rose bodily, right? Like, I think, if I'm remembering it correctly. But yeah, there are some very different interpretations of Christianity. People that whole ass still identify as Christians. Like, there are very different.
Yeah.
Because, and to be specific, in that case, they believe that Jesus left us a mission here on earth to fulfill what the example that he left, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Anyways,
like I grew up non-denominational Christian, and that can go like kind of either side of the conservative liberal route. For the most part, like we were typically like left-leaning of center, I would say. Not quite liberal, but not exactly like evangelical conservative. And even then, it was like even though I don't really identify as religious anymore, my beliefs up till that point in which I stopped identifying was pretty much like, look, Jesus said just be a good person. Like, don't be a dick. You just quit. Just fucking let people live, dog. Mm-hmm. Most of this shit's bullshit anyway. Like, but there was a lot of there is a lot of like sects of Christianity that do believe that way.
Yeah, I think I saw something the other day that I thought was very, very, very applicable. Something, it was along the lines of, if anybody's trying to use the government as a means of administering God's judgment and sovereignty, but not his mercy and lovingness, is something that you should be suspicious of. Yeah. Because I've been listening to a podcast called Kind of Evangelical. By, I think
it's the one Mommy Dearest has been trying to get
one Mommy Dearest has been getting me to listen to, by Pete Rhodes.
So proud.
She's gonna be so proud. But I particularly enjoyed listening to it because this guy who used to be an evangelical is bringing in very different perspectives on religion. Mm-hmm. He's somebody, he was a mega church pastor, and I see like mega church, I mean like a mega church of mega churches.
Oh, okay.
And then he got caught up with addiction, and in part of that journey of moving away from addiction, he also ended up moving away from his position in the church and from that version of faith in general. So he's still a very strong believer, but his faith has changed significantly because he was exposed to very different people who believed and loved in very different ways, and it's really changed. And so, like, even though it's not something that's going to make me be like, you know what, I believe in God again,
ready to give my life back over to Christ.
It is a really, it has, if I had probably been listening to it, I don't know, 6 years ago, I probably would have saved my faith. Sure. Like, it's a lot of different, very interesting perspectives on stuff. Nice. It's made me realize that there's a whole ass world out there outside of evangelical beliefs. Yeah. I fucking hate evangelicalism, or however the hell you're supposed to say it. Do. I meant the word, but
oh. Well, same. Either way.
I mean, I take
I think evangelicalism.
Sounds right.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm gonna type it into Google.
Fuck it. Me and my homies hate that shit. With the wording specifically.
Yeah, if you were gonna be like the concept? No, just the word.
No, just the etymology.
the letters put together to make the word.
Yeah. We hate that specifically. But yeah, so to wrap this back, finish out. So Eclipse happens. That was pretty sick. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. We hate that shit.
The world didn't end.
World didn't end. We came out of that. Really cool pictures. Really cool experience. We had a ton of fucking fun.
We have videos and
we do have videos and shit that we can show.
Maybe posted on our socials. Maybe
it was supposed to happen
at some point.
It'll be up there. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Because this episode ain't going out for like fucking 2 weeks anyway.
At maximum.
At minimum.
That's what
I would very much like to put a maximum on that and try to get this out and get this back caught up again, but we'll see. But world didn't end. We ended that day out. Got to go chill at the Airbnb. Really nice Airbnb, by the way.
It really was. It was very pleasant. After that night at the shit tell.
Yeah.
We
got to go stay in. It was basically a downtown apartment, a downtown Cleveland apartment, and it's exactly what you expect to be in like a downtown, not necessarily high rise, but like high up. Like that apartment had to be like $3,000 a month minimum.
Yeah,
I feel the fact that it was 2 bedrooms, probably even more. Really nice, kind of swanky looking little place.
It was in like a historic building.
The Athlon.
Real proud of their indoor pool.
Yeah. The indoor pool that wasn't even fucking open.
It
while
wasn't
we were there.
fucking open.
Because it was down for maintenance while we were there, which sucked. But the steam room was nice. And the gym, I assumed, was pretty okay.
The gym was
serviceable.
Well, for a place that prided itself on being an athletic club, I felt the gym was a little lacking.
Yeah.
For a gym at a like a Airbnb/hotel, it was fine.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. The last day we were there for this fucking shit sandwich of a goddamn trip. So we start the trip off with me fucking up.
Fucking right.
Yeah, with me fucking up the date and having to sleep in a shitty hotel. The day we really wanted to be there went fucking without a hitch. That was great.
Yep.
And then the last day we were there starts off with me waking up to my fucking passenger window being broken out on the side of my car. So yeah, we woke up, and the idea was we wake up. It's like we get out around like 10:30, 11, go to hit the art museum and the history museum. And then once we're done with that, maybe grab something to eat, head home.
I hadn't taken the day off of work, so I stayed in the apartment.
He was staying there at the apartment. We go down. Because it's downtown Cleveland, it's like the fucking day of an eclipse. Finding parking is near impossible. So we basically parked my car off like a couple blocks away. It was like a decent amount away, but it was like still like in downtown, right? Like it's like there's a hospital right there. There's some parking structures and all types of shit. It's still proper downtown.
Other cars, I assume.
Assumedly.
Yeah,
there was like other cars there. Like, so we're at a parking meter, but it's like overnight, so it's free, whatever. We get down there. Izzy goes to grab the car because he has his one wheel with him. And that's basically like the plan was that he parked the car for me because he had his one wheel and then just took his one wheel and rode it back because it made the trip super quick for him. He goes and gets my car. And as he gets to it, he calls me and he goes, because the big worry was that I was going to have a ticket because I didn't wake up in time to put money in the meter. Mm-hmm. He gets to me and is like, he gets there, calls me and is like, so I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is you don't have a ticket. The bad news is you don't have a window. I was like,
the phrasing. I like that.
Yeah, I don't think he said it exactly like that, but I was like, oh, Christ. Okay, so like,
damn,
I'm downtown Cleveland. Someone just tried to jack my car. I don't know what the damage is yet. I have not asked Izzy to look through and see if anything's taken. He would know if anything was worth taking, like what could have been in there to be taken. I'm like, oh God. I have my fucking bag of like, my entire disc golf bag is in the fucking trunk. And I swear to you guys, right here in front of like God, country, and this camera, if that bag was gone, y'all would have saw me break down in the downtown. Like in just a downtown metro. Like I would have fucking lost it. Like that, just fucking like sentimental wise, what that meant to me, like what that disc golf shit means to me right now is already one thing. And then add on top of that between the bag, the discs in it, and the extra like shit that's in that bag would have cost me like another $700 some odd plus dollars. Like that would have just been lost. if they had to got that. Like y'all would have seen a side of me y'all have not seen before. I guarantee you. Luckily, fucking luckily, Izzy gets the car around to us. Just sure enough, fucking passenger side window is completely shattered. Someone clearly like broke into it, broke a part of my door. Amazingly, nothing taken. No, nothing of value anyway. The only thing they clearly went through my center console. They clearly took I had like $8, like a 5 and like a couple ones in there that they had picked up and somehow dropped because it was between the door and the seat. So like as they were pulling their hand back out, somehow they dropped it and probably didn't have time to find it. Because my best guess is that someone spooked them and like yelled "hey" at them or something like that, and they just like dropped it and just fucking ran.
They got your lens cleaning cloth.
Well, I was about to say the worst. You know, yeah, I'm gonna break down and cry right now because the only
favorite lens.
It was my grandfather's.
The only thing they managed to get was a lens cleaning cloth and a hairbrush that I keep in my car. That was it.
Would have left you singing, "Oh, where is my hairbrush?"
So, like, yeah, literally, like, the money wasn't taken. They didn't take any of the charging cords or shit. They didn't take the fucking, I have a little dash cam that's in my car. It's not been plugged up in a while because the wires got fucked at one point. So I, like, unplugged the thing, and I've been meaning to get back to it. But that's just in the middle console, and they didn't take that. They didn't get in the trunk and take anything that was in there. So they didn't get my disc golf bag. They didn't get the speaker that I have back there. They didn't get they got nothing out of this.
It really does seem like they had no time. Like as soon as they broke it, they had maybe 10 seconds.
They probably had like 10 seconds to get the fuck in and get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they got nothing but my goat, like just fucking pissed me off. Cause it's like, now I got to deal with like not having a window.
Yeah.
And we're fucking in Cleveland, Ohio. 4 hours away from where I live. It is like, so we had to spend the whole morning dealing with that, which is why.
Bailey's sister suggested like a temporary repair kit.
I did end up getting a temporary window. We ran to an AutoZone and got it which is really just plastic and some double-sided tape. But it worked for what we needed it to do. Right?
Could you imagine the drive back without that?
Oh yeah.
We went through a really heavy rainstorm.
A super heavy,
and it held out for 5 minutes after the rain.
Yeah,
stopped.
and then fucking, which that was so much luck, bordering blessing, how that worked out. Because so in Ohio, I end up going make a police report, which is what took most of the time. Yeah. That's the reason we didn't even get to the museum in time.
It's because we got to the police station right at lunch.
Yeah. We got which we would have been there earlier if we get to the parking meter just to get pictures and shit. We see the broken glass on the ground and all that, and just to get the general location, street crossing and all that, because obviously we're in a city none of us know of, so try to get as much info as we can to take this to the police. We were like, okay, we need to go I called non-emergency services, hey, someone broke into my car. I don't want to make a report. I want to make a report right quick.
How do you call non-emergency services?
You just look up the local municipal non-emergency number. That's what we did. I think there's a different number for every municipal city or metro, but that's pretty much it. It would be nice if it was a simple 3-digit number, but it's not. It's just a business number. But we called. She was like, "Yeah, you got to go make if you can drive the car, go make a report, in person." I was like, "Okay." In my head, I was like, "Y'all can't. You motherfuckers just stroll around this bitch anyway. Y'all couldn't just come meet me here. I'm literally 3 minutes away from a precinct. It was literally a 3-minute drive to get to the wrong precinct, apparently." So there's the main justice, Department of Justice we end up going to. I get there. we had to park like not that far away. Like it's like across the street and like down another side street a little bit. And I start making my way there. Literally get inside. So they have these revolving doors. I literally pulled the Simpsons gif of Grandpa Simpson walking in and immediately walking back out.
Yep.
Because I walk in, touch my pockets, and feel that I have my fucking switch knife, my fucking like switchblade on me. I was like, and we're gonna go back to the car now.
It's not a switchblade. It's a folding.
It's
knife.
not a switchblade. You're right. It's a folding knife.
But even still,
it's a fucking knife.
the officers won't care what kind of knife it
give a
is.
shit.
They'll just say, "Oh, black man with knife."
Yeah. So literally, like they just saw this 6'2" black dude walk in and walk right back out. Walked right back to my car,
Which could potentially be even more suspicious.
It could have been, but it wasn't. It's fine. I'm still here. So, like, get the knife out of my pocket, turn around, start walking back. Halfway to walking back, remember, I have a fucking vape in my pocket.
Black man with vape.
Turn around.
Also
go back to the
dangerous.
car. It's like, all right, time to just fucking empty the pockets. Like, let's get everything that isn't my wallet out of here.
Black man with wallet. Highly suspicious. Is it his?
Is it his? Is it a gun? We don't know. Yeah, so do all that, walk back. This has now been like a fucking 10-minute ordeal. Get in, get through security, go to like get through, and I'm like, okay, I have nowhere to go inside. It's a huge building, by the way. Like it looks almost like an airport terminal. Like it was just like you walk in, you go through security, and then there's just ways to go as far as the eye can see. It's kind of crazy. So I get in, I go to the little info desk. I'm like, hey man, my car got broken into. I just want to make a quick police report for insurance purposes. The dude was like, okay, well, let me make a call. I was like, okay. So he makes this phone call. He's like, yeah, we got a dude here like looking to make a police report. Okay. Sweet. Looks back at me, is like, okay, you need to go to the actual the district court for this precinct. And I was like, well, this happened like 3 minutes down the road. Is this not the place? It was like, nope, you need this such and such precinct. I was like, which is like fucking 15 minutes away. I was like, okay, all right, fine, whatever. Leave. As I get out, realize I left my watch in the fucking checkpoint. Have to turn back around, go in. And luckily it was right there. So they were like, hell yeah, you left this right here. Sweet. Thank you.
You do be leaving that wall.
I leave this watch in places. Don't worry.
I just be seeing it sometimes just on the side of the sink when I like come out of my room. I'm like, who's it? I always forget whose it is. I'm like, where did this come? Oh,
the only motherfucker with a non-Apple anything in this house.
yeah. I always like, for the longest time, I just assumed it was like, none of ours because it was just on the ledge.
Why is it just here?
Yeah.
Like, bitch, you leave your fucking ring up there. You've only finally stopped doing that.
Yeah, because I just leave it on my dresser now when I go to wash dishes. But no, like, I don't know. Find that very funny.
It is really funny. Like the amount of times I'll like get downstairs and I'm like, where's my, oh shit. Well, it's up there for the night now. But yeah, no. So we get out of there, drive over to the main precinct, get to the precinct that I was supposed to be at, or the district court, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Get there, get in. It's like the weirdest juxtaposition to what I had just came out of, because the other place was like this gigantic sprawling labyrinth of like hallways and shit. And then this thing looked exactly like something out of like a commercial, with just how like simple in its setup it was.
I know what you mean.
So we get in and I just tell the guys like, hey, had my car broken into over on such and such street. I just want to make a quick police report so I can get the fuck out of here and go home. I'm tired. It was like,
please.
It was like, all right, sign in and wait. And we waited. And we waited. And we waited. What would you say we waited? Like 25, 30 minutes?
What are you waiting for?
They were at lunch.
They went to lunch like as soon as we got there. Because like after that, like they took one person. Because there was like two people waiting there even when we got there. One of those people got taken just as we got sat down. And then after that, it was like a good like 30, 40-minute wait of just doing nothing. And just
I guess that kind of makes sense, because ain't no motherfucker taking me away from my lunch.
Yeah.
But also,
It's like, I just need a report, dog.
I think they have like a couple people on rotation or something.
It would have been nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so finally got through the wait. He calls me back up. And literally it's just like, we need your vehicle VIN number. What happened? Where did it happen at? Sweet. Here's a card saying that we made a report and you can show this to your insurance company when you need it. It took literally 5 minutes to get through this fucking thing. Like,
God,
it was funny when you went out to your car, he called an officer and he gave her the street names.
really?
And she was like, Lord, I haven't heard that name since something.
Are you serious?
And he was like, oh, yeah. And I don't know what they were talking about, but apparently there's history down there from a while back.
Interesting.
I didn't know that at all. That's the first time I've heard that. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
I forgot to tell you.
That's fair.
So it's
Yeah,
just
we-
parked on the wrong street or
Apparently
something?
we just parked on a historically cursed fucking burial ground bullshit.
Historically cursed.
But yeah, so we get through that.
Don't you know?
And now at this point, because I have not cleaned up any of the glass out of my car yet, because I was like, if they want to take a look through it, I want to have it like as in close a condition as it can be in. So after we finally get through that, we get the okay on that. That's when we take it. I go get it cleaned out. We run by a gas station first, and I get just like shit swept out of it. And then we run to we go to the AutoZone, grab the temporary window, then take it to a car wash and like just vacuum it out as much as we can to get as much of the glass out as we can. There's still so much glass in my door that I just can't get to with anything, and I'm just too fucking bothered. I'm gonna get a little small shop vac at some point.
Does that one place by us not have anything that you could use?
No, unfortunately. You're talking like Tommy's Express?
I think so.
Yeah, like the way that they're so it's the problem is because how it's inside the door and I can't get the outer panel off. You need something that can snake into there that is thin enough to really get down in there but flexible enough to get around other shit. And that's what's making it super difficult to get anything in there to
God damn it.
Thanks for reminding me that this podcast is about humor. Thank you, bud. Because man, I am going off on a fucking tangent here. Anyway, clean the car out. Finally get that done. It is like you and Michaela are just getting to the art museum. I think when I called you. Or did y'all do
Yeah, that was probably right after we left
Yeah.
the history museum and we were heading to the art museum. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, was that when?
it was like 2:45.
Oh, I mean, that could have been.
Because whatever the second museum you got to,
Yeah.
it was like I called you. You're like, yeah, we just got here like 15 minutes ago. And I'm fairly certain that was the art museum we went to.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. That was in between. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And so at that point, I finally had everything figured out with my car, at least as much as it needed to be just to get home. And we did go to the art museum. It was pretty rad. I got pictures and videos of that too. Honestly, I really would have liked to have got to spend more time like in there because there were still some areas we didn't get to go see.
we basically explored the bottom floor and then found out there's a whole
top floor. Yeah,
that's
we just
like the same size.
Yeah, we just didn't get enough. So we didn't have enough time to like go. We were pretty much there till close.
Yeah.
They were just starting to close when we left. And that's, yeah. And then
I
after,
got in a whole ass day's work while you guys were gone.
yeah, she did. We got back, scooped him up, packed everything in from the Airbnb, closed that bitch down, and vamoosed and made our way back home. And that was the whole Ohio trip.
Yeah. I know, thinking back on it, and your car breaking experience, it was interesting because when Michaela and I got to the hotel, they had valet, and we were like, ooh, I guess this is fancy. Okay. But
Right.
It turns out like every place down there pretty much has valet.
Which makes sense.
Which
in a
makes
metropolitan
sense.
downtown area.
We just didn't, I'm not used to valet.
Same. Like I would never have known that because we got valet down in GR. Like a lot of places down there has valet, and not just like Ruth Chris. Like The hospital. The hospitals over there have valet, and it's a free service. Never knew.
Yeah, but like I don't know, because then I started thinking, I was like, well, maybe most of these places are doing valet because it's just safer than
Right.
I just
trying
don't
to
think
park
they
on the
have public parking structures like we're used to in GR.
Yeah.
that too.
Just don't have Ellis parking.
Yeah. Like that is a big metro area. Like that's a Detroit size. Like I don't know what I didn't have like a preconceived like idea of Cleveland. I'd never been to Cleveland, but like that was my first time seeing it. I was like, yeah, this feels like this is a downtown. Jesus,
This is downtown.
Like so, all in all, I had a good time. Like I did enjoy going there. Just maybe try to find if you're ever gonna go to Cleveland, try to find an Airbnb outside of the downtown area. Somewhere you have your own private drive or something.
Or
a
if there's
hotel.
like not a special event going on.
Especially if there's not a special event.
Or figure out where you're supposed to friggin' park beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just not much you can do about that.
Some
if we were
places
smart, would have took an Uber.
Some places were doing like $80 for the night.
Yeah, they hit like $80 for some of the parking structures.
Really?
It's like event parking, yeah.
Per night?
Yeah.
Damn.
Stinky.
Yeah. So that's ultimately why we decided, okay, just go find like a spot, few blocks out, and like one wheel it back and forth, right?
How much did it end up costing you?
So the window itself was like $100, and then I replaced it myself, so $100.
So you didn't make a claim on insurance for it?
No, that's a whole nother story. Turns out my insurance was not valid because apparently I only had a 2-month policy. So my policy had expired in like fucking February, and I just didn't know that.
Shit.
Sick, cool, sick.
Sick, cool, fucking sick, and they probably wouldn't have covered it anyway. Because with POPD, acts of vandalism and theft, just
It's not under there?
no,
Doesn't cover it?
no, not usually.
Yeah, POPD is basically just,
Enough insurance for you not to get fined if you
Yeah.
get pulled over.
I think from what I understand, it's personal liability protection.
Yeah.
So basically, if you fuck up somebody's entire life and they sue you for it, that's the coverage that you have.
Yeah.
Or just to pay for the other person's car. Or
Yeah.
Then that too.
But anything.
But at that point, you may as well fuck up their life anyway. So
yeah, hit them once, hit them again.
Yeah.
Like, just go ham.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it. I think basically any vehicle coverage,
Yeah.
it's not worth it.
And with the fucking car that I have, I should have full coverage. But full coverage is very expensive. So
It is, especially in Michigan.
exactly. But that's neither here nor there. It's just at the end of the day, it was just easier, and it was actually kind of a nice experience. I'd never opened up my door before, so that was fun. Not as difficult as you think it would be. But yeah, so that was the roller coaster that was Ohio and the solar eclipse. All in all, had a good time there. Just kind of sandwiched between some shitty situations. One of my own hand and another one of
Somebody else's hand, quite
Yeah.
literally.
either way. But then, yeah, so that brings us to the following week. And Mr. Fluff, you go to Aruba.
Just Aruba. I was gonna say
He doesn't go to Jamaica.
I did
or
go
the
to Jamaica
Bahamas.
or the. I mean,
He didn't
it
get to
was
see
in
no
the-
pretty mamas. Maybe he did see some pretty mamas.
I mean, I was surrounded by pretty mamas.
I was going to say, I'm
Fair.
sure he probably was swimming in them.
But the I don't know about that. But prostitution is legal in Aruba.
Hell
so
yeah.
I did make out with a man.
Nice.
He was not
Nice.
cute though.
Oh.
He gave me $20 for it.
Oh.
Shit, $20 is $20. Right?
Before
So-
or after? Okay.
It was.
Did you agree to the $20 before, though?
I did not. I did
Okay.
not.
Okay.
So like when I forget when you.
Wait, you a consolation $20.
Wait.
It was like, hey man, I know this
Hey,
was
man,
not a great
I'm
performance.
not,
Like,
yeah.
it's, I did. You know what? Just take this.
Look,
I'm
it
consolation
was
so
prize.
sorry.
not the best makeout I've ever had. It was like licking an angry toad But the
But hey, would you lick an angry toad
I
if
was
you get
drunk.
20
I was
bucks
in a
after it?
casino, and then he gave me $20. So all in all,
Profit.
it was life experience.
Have you gone to go get an STD check yet?
I probably should do that.
I should probably do that.
Hepatitis C, B, A, B.
Woot, woot.
What happened was when you go to an all-inclusive, especially in foreign countries, it's typically expected that you're going to still tip with your beverages.
Right.
And when I say tips, it's usually like $1-2 per 1 to 2 drinks, right?
Yeah.
And so when I went and I pulled out, I was like, I'm going to be here for 8-10 days. So I pulled out $200 because I drink a lot. And then, but it came out of that. Unfortunately, in Aruba, it was actually very reasonable to get that money too. Because like in Mexico, it was like $40 per whatever
Just
exchange
as a
you were making.
surcharge?
It just as a charge on top.
Oh, Jesus.
It was like $40. So if I wanted to pull out $40 a tip, because I also forgot when we went to Mexico. Cool. But it was like $40. In Aruba, it was $10. So I pulled out $200. It was like $10 charge. And then I was at a casino, so they had a bill breaking machine.
Nice.
And so I'm sitting there taking my $100. I put it in the bill breaking machine. I get 20s. Take my 20s, put it in. I get 5s. Take my 5s, put it in. I get 1s. So I'm sitting there.
That's how they ease you into gambling. They butter you up and make you think that you're like really getting something. And all of a sudden it's like, you know what? Maybe I can go do this whole slot thing. It's fun.
So I'm sitting here just feeding cash into this machine. And this guy walks up and starts talking to me. I'm like, yeah, I'm putting cash in this machine. He's like, is that an ATM? I was like, no, it's a bill breaker. And he's like, Mom. I was like, okay. And he goes to the bathroom. I'm like, cool. And then he comes back from the bathroom and he's like, so what the fuck are you doing with all this money? And I was like, oh, it's for tips, right? So, and he goes, oh, don't give them your money. And I was like, oh, so that's what this is about.
Horribly racist. They don't deserve money.
They don't deserve money. I think he was a native. But, well, actually, that's racist. But anyway.
There it is. All good.
But so I was like, oh, that's what this is about. And I was like,
Yeah, sure. Why not?
fuck it. And then, at a certain point, like we were like, he like kissed me or something. I kissed him, and he was like, so. He said something about me having a husband, and I was like, oh, this is a good out. I was like, yeah, he's back at the hotel, and he did not give a single fuck. He went right back in, like
He was looking if he can get a threesome.
he was like, oh, okay, cool. And it was like, wow. And I was like, okay. But at a certain point, I was like, I've had enough of this. So I was like, I am going over to the crab table with my friends. And so I did that.
For a second, I thought you were going to say I am married.
And need my distance.
He's like, I was like, ooh, you're dangerous. I'm like, cool. And so I went over to the craps table with my friends, and I put in $60 for playing craps. And he comes over a little bit, throws $20 down, gives me a little smooch, and goes, I'll be right here all night, baby, in case you change your mind. And I was like, okay.
And all your friends saw that too?
And all my friends, it was Snatchery,
Yep.
Sharon's brother, and a couple of his friends.
I didn't know he went.
He did.
Nice.
He somehow managed to afford it. But and so and Zach was like,
What just happened?
what the fuck? Do you know that guy? And I was like, at this point, I've been holding it. I was like, I don't fucking know, dude.
Oh, that should have been your opportunity. Oh, I've gotten to know him well.
I don't know. Well, no, but yeah. So that's what happened. There are like a lot of shit happened and nothing happened in Aruba. Most of the time, what I did was I got up at noon.
Yeah.
I put on sunscreen. I walked out to the beach, took a 2-hour nap,
Nice.
and then started drinking.
I told my parents while you were gone that we were like, just like, I go visit my parents on the weekends. And I told them like, oh yeah, like just mention like you're in Aruba. They're like, oh, like what is it gonna do out there? I was like, fucking drink, go sit on a beach and then drink, and then go to sleep and then drink. And I was like, they trust me. They go there with no plan other than to drink.
I got a tattoo.
You didn't get a tattoo. That was sick.
Lol. Have I showed you guys?
You showed me.
I did not know this. Hey, little sea turtle.
Oh, look at it. I didn't get to
little cute.
I never actually got a chance to see what it was. Nice.
Nice. Is the square around it going to disappear?
That's
I can take it off on Wednesday.
Second scan.
Okay.
I've been showering in interesting ways because you're supposed to not get it wet.
Oh really?
Because of the second scan specifically, yeah.
Oh, I thought the point is that it could get wet.
Well,
It's supposed to be breathable, right? I literally just like watched a video about this a couple days ago.
It's
That's
not
the
been
reason.
getting perfectly dry, but I've been my understanding was that you're supposed to avoid getting it wet, and then
Okay.
you're supposed to get like some antimicrobial soap and.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's like I've heard it. There's very specific instructions on how to take care of like a tattoo post. Very close. So the reason this came up, even in like my recommendeds, is there was a guy who was showering, and just off his leg, off a fresh tattoo, you just see what looks like a gigantic, just like black fucking liquid filled blister.
Oh, yeah.
And then he just like pretty much just like pulls and squeezes it and it immediately pops, and you can tell like what pops out is just ink. And apparently that's just a thing. I forget I think they call it an ink sac.
Yeah.
That'll happen under the second skin.
For particularly large tattoos, that's a normal thing.
So it's a super normal thing. It just looks crazy when you've never seen it before. And that's how I went about to like read about and learn more about second skin.
Not under the skin, just between the like.
Between the layer and the skin.
So between the second skin layer and the skin, because
Yeah.
fluid will.
Well, I wore something similar to that for road rash, and the same thing happens with like.
Yeah, so
Gross, like-
it was essentially what was happening is it was basically inch stained plasma.
Yeah.
Was the understanding, and so that just comes out very liquidy.
Yeah, because often the plasma, because it won't be like blood, it'll be like a clear plasma typically.
Yeah.
That will kind of leak out, and then
He had a gigantic tribal tattoo that was like all black filled in, so that's why it was so stained comparatively.
For a second, I thought you were talking about Fluff had a giant tribal, and I was like, "What?"
if it gets too big too quickly, you can pop it and then reapply.
Yeah.
It's my understanding. Don't quote me. Do your own research before you do that, because I'm not an expert on this. Is the first time I've ever gotten a tattoo.
The bitch beat me to it.
But yeah, I'll beat you any day.
You have a husband.
That's right. He's back at the hotel in
Yep.
Aruba. A couple other fun things I did while I was out there. We went snorkeling all the time.
Hell yeah, that's what I would do.
But we only really saw some interesting stuff when we went to Boca Catalina, the beach out there, where we saw some sea turtles. We saw stingray. We saw some little squid or cuttlefish. It's unclear which it was. I took videos of all those, so maybe I can throw those in there.
Did it look cute and cuddly?
It kind of did.
Probably a cuttlefish then.
But should you cuddle a cuttlefish?
I think
No.
cuttlefish are poisonous.
They're very venomous. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a terrible name to call it.
Yeah. They're named in a very interesting kind of way.
What do you call that fish? Oh, that's a cuttlefish.
Oh,
Oh,
don't
come
touch
here. No.
Isn't it
That's the
spelled
last thing.
C-U-T?
It is, but it's still pronounced. Everyone says cuddle. It's a cuttlefish.
One of the sea turtles came up for air, and I got to like swim with it while I was going back down to the seafloor for a little bit, because they have these
Sweet.
big beds of seaweed the sea turtles will come and eat from.
Hell yeah.
Which is also why we got a sea turtle tattoo, because Aruba was kind of known for them. Their ocean environment's really struggling out there.
In like a global warming kind of way or a global pollution kind of way?
I think more the global warming than the global
Okay.
pollution, but there are factors. Like,
Get your traveling in now, folks.
well, and Aruba in particular is a desert island, so they don't have a lot going on aside from what's in the ocean. So when a species there is protected, it's protected.
Fair.
We went on a guided tour where they take a Jeep and they drive you around the island. And the guy we got for our guided tour was incredible.
I saw some clips of that on Snapchat.
I did not see that. Who posted that?
Uh,
Don't answer that. Don't worry about it.
Probably sure.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, it'd probably be Sierra Shine. Sierra uses Snapchat.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
I just realized I only have one person in that group, and she was like the one person who didn't go. So
Yeah. But
I'll check their TikTok later.
his driving, I took a picture of his driving just on I took a video of him driving just on the like roads because it was wild. Where he's doing like 80s and 40s, like we're talking kilometers per hour, but he's still going like twice the speed limit. In the national park that they have these paved. They have some of the roads are paved, and then they have these gullies in the paved roads for when it's the wet season and water's like running through there. So he'd be like, go 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 go, go 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 go. And then we get out on these back roads, and he's flying as fast as he can down there. We're like, I'm trying to take pictures of the coast while he's doing this, like my arm, like trying to hold it as stable as I can. I haven't really checked out a lot of those videos yet.
Got to get that auto stabilization.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I should have had like a 4-way
Oh, a gimbal.
or something, but it was really cool. A lot of the views we saw were really cool. We went to a couple caves that were really cool. It was nice. It was a really nice mixture of like relaxing, doing fun things, and relaxing.
Nice.
And it was, even though we were drinking a lot, it wasn't quite like Mexico where I was almost browning out every night. I only had 2 nights in particular, which actually the first 2 nights we were there. The first night we were drinking, and then we decided to play a game called 2-Man, which is sort of like something that's been born within the friend group. I don't really recommend it because it's specifically designed to punish you into drinking, or one person in particular to drinking. Every time we play 2-Man, there's at least one person that comes away from 2-Man that says they're never playing 2-Man again.
That's fair.
But
I want to play 2-Man.
Make that 3-man.
Let's do it.
it's extremely simple game, which is nice.
Most of them are.
Yeah, which is nice for when you're drinking, but it's also brutal. If anybody ever wants to know the rules, just message us.
Okay.
So that night we were playing that game, and I was like, I've been drinking so much so quickly, there was just like too much in my stomach, and I was like, all right, I'll see you guys in a second. I had to go vomit, so I went. I threw up and I came back and kept drinking.
All right, tank's empty.
But
Gotta
then
replace it.
Refill.
the next night, the boys had started drinking earlier in the pool, and they were drinking beer. They had been drinking a lot of beer, so they had like, I don't know, like 9, 12 cups that they had between them that they had drank, and so they started this pyramid.
Hell yeah.
And so we were growing this like pyramid of cups until we were, I don't know, the middle row was something like 12 cups tall. Like, it was crazy. There were so many cups that we would drink between the two of us. And
Jesus.
me and one of the other guys that were there were like, we're going to finish another row. This is one of the stupidest things I've ever decided to try to do. Of course, we were too drunk at that point to even correctly stack the pyramid. So as we were trying to build up the additional layer, we did it incorrectly and ended up with like extra cups that we needed.
Jesus.
It was bad. That night, and so we got out of the pool. We cleaned everything. We got out of the pool to go to dinner. We all got ready. I managed to get my something on to go to dinner. And so they have the resort we're at was comprised of 2 resorts. So there's the Divi and the Tamaran. And when you're at one of them, you have all-inclusive. One of them, you get access to everything at both of them.
Nice.
Right. So we're going over the Tamaran, and they have shuttles that run all day. Typically, we would walk. But when you're all dressed up to go to dinner and you're as drunk as I was, you're taking a shuttle.
That's fair.
And so I'm sitting there riding the shuttle, and I'm like, oh, no.
I'm fucked up. Oh.
Oh,
Oh, nice save.
I need to get off this shuttle right
to get off the
now.
shuttle immediately. And when the shuttle stopped, I went directly to the bathroom and vomited for a little while until security came and got me and brought me back to my room.
Oh.
So, yeah, that was nice.
You got so fucked up. You whited out and had to go back to your last safe.
Dude.
Holy shit.
That's the perfect analogy,
Holy
actually.
shit.
Yeah, like literally he knocked on the door and he was like,
Yeah, you've had enough.
he was
sir.
like, what you doing in here? I was like, what do you think I'm doing in here?
I kissed a strange man and I don't feel so
I
well.
don't feel so good. I was like, look, I don't have any business being here right now. Can you help me get back to my
Oh, okay.
Fortunately, most of the time, I'm very pleasant while I'm drunk.
Yeah.
And also,
I don't have any business being
I was
mad.
like,
I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know what I'm
Mr.
doing.
Stark, I don't feel so.
I texted everybody, made sure they knew what I was doing. But yeah,
Good.
so that happened. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else crazy that happened while I was there. And not really. I just ate good food, slept, drank. Sometimes good drinks, sometimes bad drinks. It really depended on who your bartender was.
Fair.
But they actually had some decent quality alcohol.
I would
mo-
hope so. Or
Well,
is it
most
not-
of the
not
time when you
available?
go to like an all, at least in like Mexico,
Okay.
when you go to an all-inclusive, they just have the cheapest shit.
Yeah.
It's like cheap, high proof, because most people are going like, hey, give me 36 shots.
You're gonna be fucking drunk
and
in
then
about-
like, you're spending these 36 shots on like 12 people. People are getting plastered. They're not there to enjoy the stuff they're beveraging. But the stuff that they're beveraging, the stuff that they're drinking, but the clientele at the inn in Aruba was much more chill,
Nice.
more relaxed. So even though they had a little bit nicer stuff to drink, it wasn't crazy. It was stuff that maybe it's been like $40-$50 a bottle on here, I think.
Okay.
Like Absolute Vodka, Jack and Coke, Crown Royal.
Nice.
But
Give me with Crown Royal. Love Crown Royal.
Hennessy.
I've had Hennessy once. I'm not a huge fan of it.
Apparently it's a bourbon. Not a bourbon. It's a brandy.
Really?
Yeah. But the which I didn't realize, but so like Henny and Coke was one of the most ordered things when we were there.
That's fair.
And then we all agreed to get a tattoo on one of the last days. Well, I say we all, everybody who wanted to get a tattoo got a tattoo. And yeah.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Did you all,
Go ahead.
were they matching tattoos or you all get something different?
Semi-matching. Most people got a turtle of some kind. And then the last person decided not to get a turtle at all. And they got a little thing that says "Adventure Awaits," and they got a rose on their pointer finger. So
I feel like that was Cheyenne's brother.
no, he actually decided not to get a tattoo at all because his dad was being weird about it.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
How much did it hurt, like getting the tattoo done?
It's interesting. It was both worse and not as much as I expected. So for me, the sensation, at least, and I was told this is a little bit more painful.
I was going to say, that seems like a pretty...
Yeah.
because the skin in this
sensitive.
area is thinner.
Mm-hmm.
But everywhere I think about it seems like it would be very painful. But like the sensation you get when you get like a bee sting.
Oh, yes.
So it's kind of like that. It just lasts longer.
Interesting.
And then when they stop, it's gone immediately, pretty much.
Okay.
So like I feel like as the needle's poking,
It's more sustained.
It's more sustained.
Okay.
And then there's like an additional sensation of like pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I think he thought it hurt me more than I did because I asked about a numbing gel because I was curious if you had put any on. Like when we started, I was like, is this with or without? Because I wanted to know if I was experiencing it like the full pain or if I was experiencing like a numbed down version of it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, no, because it usually takes an hour to kick in if you do the numbing gel. But my conclusion was that if anybody ever needed a professional, I also went with a design that was a little bit lower detail because for my first time I didn't know how I was going to react to the pain.
Right.
Never
do anything like extra. Never try to get something extravagant as your first tattoo is what I've been told.
Yeah. Zach also got a turtle, but he got full detail on that turtle.
Really?
He did. And Zach is particularly averse to pain. He was like,
ooh.
He was like holding somebody's hand, like squeezing it, like almost tearing up the whole time.
Interesting. Because I was going to say, I heard that the level of pain that you feel, even in like the same look, so like even if we're talking like back of the arm, right, that can vary wildly between people.
Yeah, he
got just kind of up to the person you are.
His ankle. Well, really, I think it depends on your sensitivity, right? Like, what's your reaction to the idea of getting a bee sting?
Oh well, it sucks, but I'll get over it.
What about you, Kenton?
I mean, I get poked quite a bit for.
No, bee sting
like,
is way different than plastic.
I was gonna say
hypodermic needle.
Don't
poke.
know if I can.
Have you never been stung by a bee?
No, not a bee.
What about you, Izzy?
I used to step on honeybees all the time, so it's not really a big deal.
Like as a fucking just like I'm gonna be a terror to the honeybees?
No, just because like you're running around in the yard barefoot.
Oh, okay.
And there's clover.
Yeah. Like I remember I used to be terrified of them, and at some point I realized that being stung by a bee actually isn't that bad.
Yeah.
It's like mildly irritating. But
the sting does hurt like a bitch, don't get me wrong, but
well, like when you talk to somebody like Zach about getting stung by a bee, he's like terrified.
I'd rather you just shoot me.
Right? Like he's like very scared. He doesn't deal with pain well.
Okay.
He doesn't really. It's even discomfort. He doesn't deal with well.
Fair.
And so I was actually very surprised that he got a tattoo and sat through it all the way in the first place.
Was he sober when y'all made the decision?
He was.
Okay.
Well, I mean, his phone was probably only rivaled by like me. So he wanted to very much be a part of that.
Fair.
And so he stuck it out, which I'm actually kind of proud of him for doing that.
Yeah.
Because he definitely challenged himself in that.
Push past your comfort zones.
But yeah, I honestly, the pain really isn't that bad. I don't think that I would ever want to, at least without more experience, I don't think I would ever want to be one of those people that sits for like a 12-hour tattoo.
How long did it take?
Or I wouldn't want to be like a canvas for somebody.
Right.
It took 15 minutes, right?
Oh, wow, okay.
Because mine was pretty simple.
Yeah. Because I'm assuming it wasn't
pretty small.
I'm assuming that's not freehand, it's just stenciled on.
Well, you say stencil.
Like, I assume that is not, they didn't have to, how do I want to word this? I assume they picked a design from a catalog they already had.
So it wasn't that they already had. We found something on Pinterest. He modified it slightly. And then, like we printed out on trace paper. I put it on me.
Okay.
Which is my understanding is what they do with most tattoos.
Yeah.
Well, I have seen some people that like scribble some shit with marker and then like peel back something and like, look at this beautiful thing. But
yeah, when we went to the tattoo expo, like the artists who didn't have people in chairs, you could just see them like just drawing new designs and shit. It was actually pretty sick.
Some people will just freehand.
But then some people will just
that's
freehand
like,
the tattoo. But
either you're really bad or really good.
yeah, you have to have a lot of trust in that artist to do that. But clearly he didn't freehand that. Like he was going off something and had a template he could pull out.
Yeah. Which was actually, seeing how he did it, I was like, if I ever had to do a backup career, I think I could do a really good job of at least that part of the process. But yeah,
creating a stencil.
Yeah, I've gotten over the years with most of what I've done with different artwork. I've gotten really, really good at making something in Adobe Illustrator. printing that out, and then copying it or transferring it into various, whether that's onto clay or cutting it out or something like that. But following those kinds of stencils, I think it would actually be after I got used to like the technique of like working with the guns and the different needle sizes and the line weights and stuff like that, and then like how the different needles interacted with like skin, I think I would be very, very good at it. But yeah, that's neither here nor there.
Fair. But yeah, that was your time in Aruba. That sounds like a really fun time.
It was really fun. And we're planning on going to another different island in the Caribbean next year is what we're looking at too. So I'm excited about that.
I might set up a weekend trip and come like hang out with y'all for like a weekend and then come back. Like something like that. I don't know. I'm such not a, what was the weather like? I guess
Aruba is a desert island.
So, okay. I'm such not a heat person that like sitting on a beach for hours at a time just does not seem appealing to me. Getting in the ocean and snorkeling and shit and swimming with the animals, that sounds like absolute fantastic time.
Before I go to anything else south, I want to get scuba certified.
Hell yeah. I was super certified.
Scuba
certified.
I was
scuba scurvy.
I got the super scurvy.
Really?
I was scuba certified, yeah.
I think Bailey was too.
Nice. I'm assuming that shit expires because I have not kept up with it, but it was back in high school.
What did you have to do?
Literally just train.
There's probably like a written test and a practical.
Yeah, like you learn, wait a minute. I was not scuba certified. I got to do scuba, but I never got certified. That is a whole lie I just told. I'm so sorry. I was CPR certified. I don't know.
I feel lied to and cheated.
Yeah, I don't know if our friendship can survive that.
Yeah, well, it's the end of that era.
Damn.
My cutoff game is strong, bitches. No, but I did get to do some scuba. But I think it is like written test stuff, and as well as obviously like training, getting like actually in a scuba apparatus and under.
They got to make sure that you're not gonna that you know how to use the equipment,
right?
And you're not gonna get the bends.
Yeah. Do you know how to breathe through a scuba using a scuba thing? Because that is a weird experience. Like breathing pure oxygen through the
respirator.
Yes, thank you. Through a respirator is a weird thing to be doing at like fucking 13, 15 feet underwater. But once you get used to it, I could just sit underwater all fucking day. Like that's so fun. And obviously we're talking scuba, not snorkeling, which is what you guys did. Did you guys do any scuba?
No. But having the option to do that, I think would be really cool. Like there were some shipwrecks that people could have potentially maybe done that at. I don't know if there were any like services providing that, but there was a group of the people that were there were there for a wedding.
Everything's available if you go late enough at night. That's a terrible idea. Do not. Please don't. If you go to somewhere as like a vacation shit, please do not do things after hours or don't let your hubris get the best of you. Because trust me, that's just a recipe for disaster.
We almost went skinny dipping.
I went skinny dipping?
We considered it, but then somebody brought up the point, which is a very good point, which is we're in a foreign country. It'd be best not to get arrested here.
That would be nice. Also, none of y'all are deserving of my goodies. You have to pay premium price for that shit. Thank you.
I already my thumb.
We already had a man. We had a man pay $20 for just this tongue. So, what do you make sure I think y'all gonna get this shit for free?
What do you think my thumb is worth?
Yeah. So check out our Patreon and our OnlyFans.
OnlyFans coming soon. Patreon here. Once again, that is actually here. I'm just not advertising it yet. Not fully. You get in early. Locked in at a premium price.
I'm gonna have to dookie soon.
That's fair. So Ohio was great. Aruba sounded like it was a fantastic time. Fantastic. A great time. Yeah, if y'all do a Caribbean island next year, I might crash that for like a weekend. Because like if I go, I can't imagine I want to spend any more than like a couple days in that kind of location. As fun as it would be, I just don't drink the way that you guys do. I would have fun with some of those activities, but it's like once I experience it, other than the snorkeling and the scuba and the water shit, I probably won't give a fuck beyond that after like experiencing it the first time. So that was Ohio. That was Aruba. Do you have anything over this last couple weeks that you would like to talk about that isn't like news or usual stuff related?
I hadn't actually really thought. Nah, not
Nothing
really.
happened with you over the last like 3 weeks?
No, I mean, Ohio was really
True.
the biggest thing.
Yeah, that was a shared thing.
Yeah, nothing.
Hell yeah.
I'm sure if I would have sit down for like an hour and really tried to think about something, I'd probably have
There's
something.
probably stuff to talk about,
But I figured that we probably would take most of this time to talk about Ohio and
Yeah.
Aruba.
yeah,
So,
fair enough.
I don't know.
And
I
I
don't
think-
have anything at the moment.
And at first, I did not plan on doing this, but as we've been going for 2 hours now, or 2-ish hours, I don't know exactly how much.
Yeah.
I think this will be actually a really fun like parallel to episode 1, in which we do a part 1 and a part 2. So now that we've got everybody caught up on our last like 3-4 weeks, we cut this at a part 1, and we come back next week and do episode 20 part 2.
Yes, sir.
Y'all cool with that?
Heck yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
Well, we will see y'all next week. Thank y'all for hanging around with us. I can't believe we actually got past that 5-month mark. I'm super proud of that, because I'm like I said it before, I'm just so used to like starting stuff and then not kind of dropping off of it and not finishing it out, that to have something that we have hit this kind of milestone for, and not to say that this was the specific milestone I even knew about. It's something I heard about, like that many podcasts fall off by the 5-month mark. So to hit this like milestone and still be doing it strong and still be going, like, feels really fucking good.
I think it's even more easier with us just because we've known each other for so
Right.
long, and we're good friends, and we're just literally talking about whatever the fuck. like we have like ideas of things we want to talk about, but I
Right.
think it's just been really easy to just come downstairs, sit down, and just talk.
Just talk.
That's
Yeah.
we do it anyway.
This is true.
So it's like it's not any extra big prepping or anything that we're really
Right.
doing. It's
We
really
just have a
equipment
computer,
stuff.
some mics, and a camera on us at this point.
Coming downstairs.
Yeah.
It is nice.
Mm-hmm.
I like.
Wait, it took me a minute.
I
It
got
took
it
me a minute.
immediately.
It took me a minute.
I was
Wow.
So the thing that's upsetting me right now is not that I didn't get it. I got it immediately. Is that
you cracked.
I cracked. One is that I cracked, and two, I couldn't think of a good like follow up to the joke. I was like, well, shit, my brain failed me. Oh well. That was this is episode 20 part 1. We'll be back next week with episode 20 part 2, where we'll be getting into some topics like Keanu Reeves is voicing fucking Child the Hedgehog. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
A little bit of insight on.
Have you guys seen this
the Knuckles
podcast called
series.
Life with Althar?
No.
No, but we'll hear about it next week,
Mm-hmm.
as well as some other funsies. I'm sure anybody who grew up on the internet in like the fucking mid teens has definitely seen stick figure fights.
Yep.
And I recently came across something there, so we're gonna watch a clip of that next week as well.
As well as some maybe older movies and stuff that
And
we
some newer
are going
movies.
to reminisce, and some newer movies
That we don't want to
that
reminisce.
we may not want to reminisce. We got some cool stuff.
We got some cool
that we're gonna
shit. We'll be
talk
back next week with part 2, and we'll be getting back into our normal rotation. I think that'll be a fun time again.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all so very much. As always, follow us. Obviously, like and subscribe on this channel. I'm going to be starting that real like push for growth now, which is also going to come down to posting stuff on different social media. I know it's now a weird landscape with TikTok now technically not having the fucking guillotine over it with all that, but there's pretty much a year before that really becomes a major issue. So I'm going to be doing a major push on social media and getting like short form content and clips and stuff out. So yeah, follow us on all of our major social media. You can find it in the link below. For the most part, either KAD podcast or Kingz After Dark podcast, pretty much anywhere you need to, but there's a link tree down in the description that's going to help you get to everything you need. What else? There probably isn't anything else. I don't know why I'm trying to make up something else. Y'all have a fantastic night. We will see y'all again next week. Fucking happy 5 months. We made it, and we're gonna keep going. Here's to us getting to a year.
Yes, sir.
Here's to well, you getting past your marriage first. We gotta get you through that wedding.
Yep.
And then after that, we'll be hitting a year, and we'll be in an interesting place when it comes in. So, y'all have a good night.
Peace.
Stay gay.
Bye.
Bye.
Pack it up. We're done.
What was the
It's
joke?
over?
How was the
We're done
joke?
podcasting forever?
Forever. I quit.